years,
That's crazy,
along
bro.
with a host of generational
Look at
talent.
this. God damn, La Masia is cooking. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna react how to save a football club. Feat Lamine Yamal, created by Intercept. Maybe go to his channel, subscribe, get a like to his video. As you know, like right now, Lamine Yamal playing in the World Cup with Spain. I think they went in the quarterfinals against Belgium. I think the match is tomorrow. If you know what I mean, bro. 18 years old. Wow, bro. Superstar already, bro. Let's proceed, bro. Let's proceed.
Yamal is saving Barcelona. That seems to be the general consensus in football right now. But the term saving his boyhood club is a bit confusing.
To me, yeah. I thought like he just like saved.
Because Barca
like,
aren't exactly in a
bad
crisis, right? Top of La Liga, Champions League knockout stages, and they're still one of the biggest teams
I think
in
it was
the
like
world.
before.
So what's Yamal saving them from? Well, size and stature doesn't make clubs exempt from financial and structural issues. In fact, a lot of the time, it makes them more liable. United, Chelsea, Juventus.
Juventus, more like United, but like they're in a complicated situation.
The biggest clubs in footballing history are run terribly. If we look at the figures, according to the most recent financial reports, there's a direct correlation between club size and debt, and whether it's money owed on
The most spent is Real
or
Madrid,
unpaid
basically.
contracts and
That makes
transfer
sense, I guess.
fees. All these huge clubs owe ridiculous amounts of money. And amongst
Bro, United spent that much?
the
Bro,
biggest
what?
in Europe, Barcelona are actually the club with the most debt finances at 2.1
this is debt?
billion euros. After declaring bankruptcy in 2021, Barca had to be bailed out by the American firm Goldman Sachs with a 500 million euro loan to stop the club from going under. But
God damn, bro.
even with this loan,
Goddamn.
poor financial decisions were made, mostly in the transfer market. Dembele, Coutinho and Griezmann cost the Spanish
Yeah, bro.
club more than 350
Yeah, bro,
million,
what?
all without making much of an impact. And Barcelona have only just finished paying out the wages for their 2020 squad members. The deeper you go,
This was
the worse
next
it
after
gets.
Messi
The club
leave.
is a mess. And
No.
despite all their debt,
Messi
they
was still
still
there.
kept investing into stadium renovation and their youth facilities. And while this sounds like yet another terrible decision, it might just be the one thing that saves them. Because only
Because
a
Lamine
miracle
Yamal
can
was
take
there.
Barcelona out of this financial crisis. But if any academy in the world
Look at
was
him,
going to
though.
produce one,
Look at
it would be
Lamine.
La Masia.
Lamine the dream. Okay.
At just 18 years old,
go.
we can already tell that Lamine Yamal is one of a kind.
Yes,
A
sir.
left-footed, playmaking right winger, straight from La Masia that instantly makes us think of Messi. His flair, dribbling and play style reminds us of Neymar. He's already won a
It's like
plethora
both
of
combined,
trophies
he said.
and is one of the most enjoyable players to watch play football. Not just now, but ever. I mean, his family even won a UNICEF raffle to meet the Barca
Look at
players
this, man. Look at Lamine.
where he was pictured with
Look at
Messi
Lamine.
when he was just a baby. You literally couldn't make this up. It
was
seems like
blessed.
these fairy tales are exclusively reserved for a
Maybe
club
it's
like
fate, I don't know.
Barcelona. Because at the moment, Yamal is single-handedly dragging his club back to relevancy, and he's restoring every area of what makes Barcelona great again. The first area is the most obvious one. Barcelona are good again. Like,
Ooh, top 3.
actually good. I know they won the league in 2023, but they've been pretty woeful in the Champions League. They haven't really played with any identity, and it showed in their results.
Yeah.
But last season, everything changed. And it's no coincidence that Barcelona's grand
Well,
return
Fleet,
to
right?
Europe correlated
Oh
with
my
Yamal's breakout season for the club.
Look
They
at
won
this,
La
man.
Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Super Cup. But weirdly,
Yeah.
I actually found their Champions League run the most impressive part of last season. They
Yeah, but they couldn't reach the finals, but like they faced like good opponents.
narrowly lost Inter in extra time in an absolute
What a
classic
game,
semi-final.
bro. What a game. I think the first game was 3-3, bro.
But they played some
That's
of the
crazy.
best football that I've ever seen. And
Two
this
goals
is what
from
made me feel like
Dumfries.
Barcelona were truly back. And at the heart of this was, of course, Lamine
Lamine
Yamal.
Yamal.
There's infinite ways to measure how good a footballer is these days.
Oof,
For
a lot of aura
attackers,
that
it's
Chelsea
mainly
kid.
goals and assists. For keepers, it's saves and clean sheets.
Mm.
For defenders and midfielders, it's a bit more tricky. Like we mentioned in our
Okay.
last video, the eye test seems to never fail. But one of the best ways to look at how impactful players are, regardless of their position, is match rating.
Okay.
FootMob has arguably the most advanced rating system, calculated based on over 300 individual metrics per player per
Damn.
match, with all the data sourced reliably from Opta. If we look at the Premier League rankings so far this season,
See, rating the best is Bruno. Okay, Bruno.
you can see how representative.
I mean, he broke
Bruno tops the
the
league,
record.
and deservedly so.
So,
He's been
yeah.
unbelievable as usual, and is involved in so many areas on the pitch. You have goal scorers like Haaland and Semenyo duly credited, but also midfielders like Garner and
Damn,
Anderson
Elliot Anderson in 7th place.
And if you watch them play, you'll understand how crucial they are to their team's success. Obviously, there's no such thing as a perfect performance metric, but this seems to be pretty accurate. And it seems to really reward the players the more involved they are on the pitch. This might mean that it tends to favour midfielders rather than wide players, as Saka, Semenyo and Giant Diallo are the only real wingers in the top 25.
Look at Bruno.
I'm in high school.
This graph shows the average football rating of the highest performing players in the top 5 leagues this season. It's weighted with all competition performances included, and it's basically an indicator of how good the best players in Europe really are. But like I just
who's this both purple? I guess it's Lamine, right? It's from La Liga.
Mentioned, this graph slightly favours the central players. And to be a
So?
high-rated winger, you really need to be special. I'm talking about the Vinny Juniors, the Rafinhas, the Elises, players that light up the pitch.
But Lamine Yamal, I'm guessing, is different, right?
The graph has age on the x-axis, and this highlights something interesting as well. There's a massive concentration of players in between the 20 to 30 age range. I mean, this is pretty obvious. It's where players have enough experience without seeing any real physical regression.
They're not like
most of these players
they're not like rookies anymore. They're like more
are in their
experienced.
prime and playing the best football of their careers. But what fascinates me is the players that sit outside this zone. Maybe the most impressive anomaly on the whole graph is Luka Modric, who's a whole 5 years older than anyone else and still playing at the highest level.
41 years old.
Amount of players in the 30 to 35 age range, and they tend to be the really technical, high IQ midfielders and defenders who understand the game at the highest level. Maybe the most exciting quadrant is the one below 20 years old. You have youngsters, and then you have these guys. Teenagers that have reached the highest level of European football almost overnight. The only 3 this season are Wayne Zaire-Emery, Yan Diomande, and of course, Lamine Yamal. But
Diomande, he having a good World Cup with Ivory Coast.
This is why it's so hard to put into words.
Diomande was cooking,
as well as being the youngest player on the whole graph.
Look at Lamine.
Lamine
the dream.
In fact, the only players that are playing on his level this season are Kane and Mbappe, 2 legendary players that have been dominating for
18 years old Lamine Yamal, bro.
The teenager is playing at their level already, and this was supposed to be a metric that favoured midfielders. It just doesn't make sense. But I think the best way to try and understand how Yamal has become so good so quickly, we actually have to look past the stats and performances. I'm talking about how he plays football and how he carries himself in general. He has a unique swagger about him, a real confidence that's so authentic.
Flair, you know? Brazilian DNA flair, you know what I'm saying?
Seen our recent video, you'll know what I'm talking about. He's unapologetically himself, and it makes him that much better as a footballer. He's not scared of failure or judgment, and it's evident on and off the pitch. Over the summer, Yamal was a victim of the press. Relationships, parties, injuries, it was relentless.
It was like the Nico, I think.
This is an 18-year-old we're talking about, whose life was picked apart under a microscope for the sake of a newspaper headline or a viral article. And unfortunately, we've seen that outside noise get to young players before, but Yamal's playing the best football of his life, and long may it continue. The best part of Yamal's game, you'd probably say, is his dribbling. He's already drawn comparisons from Neymar and Messi, and every time he's on the ball, you expect something crazy to happen.
It's like they both combination of Messi and Neymar. They're like very similar to be said.
The thing is, he's statistically an average dribbler. In fact, if we look at the dribble completion rate last season, Yamal was at 51%. Nearly half of every take-on resulted in a tackle or a loss of possession. And if we compare him to the most frequent dribblers in Europe last season, he's barely above the average in terms of completion rate either. But it doesn't stop him, not even in the slightest. I mean, just look how far ahead he is in terms of dribbles completed. And when you
look at the others, bro, that's crazy.
Him play, it's pretty clear that he's one of, if not the best dribblers in the world right now. Football is a sport of moments, and when you're as dangerous as Yamal on the ball, only one run needs to be successful to win a game.
Lamine Yamal is a cheat code.
And this persistent, confident mentality in his own game radiates off him and makes him such an enjoyable player to watch and follow. That's why it's no surprise that Yamal's quickly become one of the most popular footballers in the world. The subtle
YouTube channel,
the cheeky remarks, the unique hairstyles. Yamal's like every teenager, and he doesn't try to mask that to satisfy the pressures of the public and the press.
Yeah, he's like just both sides. You hate Lamine Yamal or you love Lamine Yamal. Love is like Barcelona and this side is Real Madrid, but like
we want to see players that are truly themselves.
It's a true football. If you like football, you can,
because he's a bit of a rebel.
You will love
but
to
when
watch
you can
Lamine
back
Yamal.
it up on the pitch like he can, it creates a hype and a buzz that I haven't felt since watching a young Mbappe or Neymar. Playing with that personality is what really makes him stand out. And I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but if you watch him, you'll just get what I mean.
I got you, bro. He's like different, you know what I'm saying?
Meticulous coaching and tactics, and a huge shift towards set pieces and defensive games, Yamal, and Barcelona as a byproduct, are a massive breath of fresh air. Even myself, an English football fan who follows the Prem and the Championship religiously, tends to keep up with La Liga just because of Yamal. I'll watch
Who is the most similar Lamine Yamal in the Premier League? Ryan Cherky? Semedo, maybe?
the Barcelona highlights,
Jeremy
I'll keep up
Doku.
with the title race, I'll pay extra attention in the Champions League.
Yeah,
It really feels like we're watching a once-in-a-lifetime player. And even countries outside of Spain can't help but tune in. Just look at the views that Yamal brings in on Sky Sports, or the headlines he makes in L'Equipe, or the shirts he sells in South America.
Nice
In
video,
fact,
by the way.
Yamal was the
Nice.
highest selling football shirt
That's
in the
aired.
world in 2025. That's more than Messi, Ronaldo,
I mean,
and
Messi and Ronaldo not in the
Vinicius,
prime, but
Lewandowski. The global pool
I mean,
is
Yamal is
ridiculous.
crazy, bro.
He's genuinely the most influential footballer in the world right now. And
Right
this
now?
is
Yes, sir.
arguably just as important to Barcelona than how he does on the pitch. I remember getting a Messi UNICEF shirt during the 2010 season, and it
Look at those two, man. Future Messi?
connected
Oh
with
no.
Barcelona from a young age. And this effect will be had on millions of kids all across the world right now. He's
Look
not
at
just
this,
made
man.
Barca relevant again, he's made them the most exciting team to support right now. And this is incredibly important for the club, now more than ever.
I'm in high school and
Cut-
I had
cut again,
absolutely
bro, cut
no
again.
idea.
Because
We're
shirt
back,
sales
we're back.
aren't
Let's
the
go, let's
only
go.
way that Yamal's saving Barcelona's finances. Club success in league and cup competitions are massive as well. As we said before, Yamal was the highest rated player in La Liga last season, and was arguably the most
Yo, hello. Higher than Mbappe and Rafinha, bro. I think like Vini also is here.
important factor in Barca winning the league. But just edging Madrid
Best
out to
league
the
player?
title earned Barcelona an extra 6 million in prize money. But their Champions League run is where the big
That's
bucks
crazy.
really start
Plus
to come
16
in.
million?
Each stage of the competition rewards clubs with more and more money as they progress. For each win, teams receive
Benfica.
1.8 million, and for a top 8 finish in the group stages, Barca were paid a 1.7 million bonus. They got 9.5 million for reaching
God
the round
damn.
of 16, 10.8 million for reaching the quarterfinals, and another 12.9 million for the semis. This isn't quite enough
Bro. No wonder like
to repay
God
Goldman Sachs all
damn.
at once, but for one good run in the Champions League, where they didn't even make the final, it's more than significant. Of course, this isn't solely down to Yamal. Their whole team,
Of
Rafinha
course.
especially, were immense in the
Hansi Flick, Rafinha, you know what I'm saying?
competition. But there's no doubt that
Pedri.
the teenager played a huge part, and he was head and shoulders above everyone else on the pitch in their two-legged tie against Inter. Another
bro.
additional source of Barcelona's income comes from La Liga at the end of each season. The Spanish league pays revenue percentages to the clubs that attract the most fans, whether it be through TV streams or match tickets. Essentially, it's a way of rewarding Real Madrid and Barca for keeping La Liga so relevant. But it's
Also Atletico Madrid, but like the most relevant
increasing
is
as
both
Yamal
of
brings
them,
even
you
more
could say.
hype and buzz to the Spanish league. In fact, a lot of the ways that Yamal helps funnel money into the club aren't really measurable. There's so many hidden factors that we don't see. All the
Also like the shirts buying, the more people coming to the stadium, you know what I'm saying?
marketing, followers, views, highlights, brand deals,
Sponsors.
even general tourism in Barcelona as a city. We'll never be able to quantify the true impact, but Deloitte reports that Barcelona have the second highest revenue in world football right
Look at this, man. Only behind Real Madrid. Oh, more than Bayern and PSG and then Liverpool?
now, and it's clearly increased since Yamal's breakout
I thought it was like PSG would be higher. I
season
don't
just
know.
a few years ago. But the craziest thing about all of this is that Barcelona got Yamal for free. Well,
For the Masia, basically. They like
not completely for free.
He
because
like
every player
I
costs
don't know.
something,
They
but it
created
might as well
him.
have been nothing. Yamal was in La Masia Academy from the age of 7, where he grew
Yeah.
and developed as a footballer and eventually made his senior debut at just 15. Reports from La Masia
Xavi and Dandes
state
debuted
that
him, I
the
think.
academy cost around 5 to 10 million a year to operate. So even if we take that upper limit and multiply it by the years that Yamal's been in the academy, we're looking at a cost of about 80 million euros.
Dang!
And obviously Yamal wasn't
Bro,
the only player in
goddamn.
the academy, but even if he was, 80 million for a player like him is a bargain. Since
Bro, it's
2024,
that's
however,
cheap.
Barcelona have made 50 million euros in sales from La Masia players alone. So the academy actually operates.
sell,
in a
bro, they sell
profit
too much.
time. Remember
Ricky
when I said
Puig,
investing in their youth system,
Ansu
was alone,
Fati.
despite all the debt they had, might be the thing that saves them? This is why. Because having a strong academy is obviously good for finances, whether it's selling prospects on for profits, or developing superstars like Yamal without a transfer fee. But it brings so much more than just financial efficiency. Say Barcelona didn't have Yamal, but
Okay.
wanted to sign a player like him. Firstly, there isn't really
Right now he's like 250, I think.
a player like him on the transfer
250
market right
million.
now. But secondly, even if there was, you'd probably spend about 200 million.
Yes, sir.
for him.
That's
There's
what I'm
no
talking about.
guarantee that he's going to be the same player as the one that would have come through at La Masia. This would be a massive risk for any club, especially one with as much debt as Barcelona. The player could get injured, not live up to their potential, not fit in with the club system. There's so many things that could go wrong.
And they got
as
it for
we've
free.
seen with so many transfers,
That's
over
crazy.
100 million in the past. But Barca eliminate all the financial risk by developing him straight from the academy.
That's
And
true.
I don't think the value of this can be understated, because there's another side to coming from the academy that isn't necessarily obvious when
Okay.
looking from a financial point of view, and it's loyalty. If Barca did buy a
that's
200
true.
million pound youngster, there's no guarantee that he'd feel any sort of affinity towards the club.
There's like no connection, and they might leave next season. You know what I'm saying? Like only sign
It
for
could
1
simply
year.
just
Like,
be the next move in the player's career, and 2 years down the line, they've gone to the club that they've always wanted to play for. But when you bring players through La Masia Academy, they bleed red and blue. They want to play for Barca more than anything. Being developed in such a prestigious academy brings loyalty, brings pride, and a real authenticity that money can't buy. And Yamal stated himself that he wants to stay at the club forever.
bro, the Barcelona fans, the Barcelonistas, the coolest. They have Lamine for ages, bro.
So as long as they play their cards right, Barcelona have a superstar for life. I guess the other best player in the world right now is a perfect point of comparison. And I'm really not
Mbappe.
trying to put Mbappe in any sort of
Kiki
negative
Mbappe.
light. He's genuinely one of my favourite footballers ever. But he just feels a bit disconnected from his club at the moment. And the
Yeah.
same goes for a lot of Real Madrid players.
Mbappe is right now is more like connected to the national team. You know what I'm saying? He's the best version that's come out every World Cup. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't always seem like they're playing with the club's best interests at heart. I mean, this season Mbappe's been nursing his knee injury to make sure he's healthy for the World Cup with
That's what I was
France,
talking about,
where
yeah.
we can clearly tell he plays with complete freedom and fluidity. On the flip side, Barcelona were frustrated when Spain overplayed Yamal during his injury because they wanted his
remember
best
the
self reserved for the club.
Flick
This loyalty
interview, I
and
think.
family feeling at Barcelona is what makes everything so special. And Barcelona's identity always has and always will come from La Masia. It's almost like the passion players have playing for their home nation.
Look at this difference, bro. I sure like Barcelona is like more like a family loyalty connection. Was some like Real Madrid is more like economy, more like sponsors, other stuff.
Loyalty will
It
shine
makes sense,
brighter
it
than
makes sense.
anything else in the highest pressure situations, like we saw in countless games in cup competitions last season.
I'm in high
Again,
school.
cut
and
again,
I-
bro.
The La
Let's go,
Masia
guys. Let's
DNA
go.
is real, but how do Barcelona keep making this happen? I mean, Real Madrid's academy isn't that bad, for example, but
Man,
it
it's
doesn't
mid.
come
It's
close to
mid.
Barca. In fact, all of their best first-team players right now were bought elsewhere. Vinicius, Bellingham, Mbappe. Not only this,
Okay.
but most of them were already proven superstars before they came to Madrid.
From
Yet
other
Barcelona
places.
have managed to produce a once-in-a-lifetime right winger, not just once, but twice in the last
Also
20
like Carlos Puyol, Messi, PK, Jordi Alba.
years,
That's crazy,
along
man.
with a host of generational
Look at
talent.
this. God damn, La Masia is cooking. God damn.
Even players like Pedri, who weren't actually from La Masia, were scouted early into their career and spent so much time developing at the club. It's just built within the roots, and it provides an important message for any club, or person for that matter, trying to be successful in football or life. Since Johan Cruyff revolutionised the academy,
Look at Lamine.
Barcelona's
I think it's
identity
Lamine.
was to trust La Masia. Every age group played with the same
Oh.
style of football. Players as young as 15 would train and play with the men's team. The club's focus has always been on the youth. So it's actually no surprise that they keep reaping the rewards of generational youngsters in the modern era of football. And while a lot of clubs have strong academies like
Masia, the best economy ever, bro.
Benfica,
Just telling you the
Ajax,
truth.
Sporting, I don't think any of them can really rival Barcelona.
That's
but
true,
then
that's
you
true.
have clubs that build their squads with pure purchasing power and name hunting.
Well,
Real
Madrid.
Madrid, PSG, Man City. They
Yeah.
obviously have some academy prospects, but the majority
Fold-
of their
also
dominance
CD is
comes
not
from
bad,
building
but, like-
super teams to dominate their competition. The thing is, this works. Arguably better than any other method of running a football club. It's certainly not affordable, and only the biggest clubs in the world can operate
Damn.
this way.
Oh,
But a club like
Madrid.
Madrid is the best in the business at
It's
it.
gaining
It
business.
worked well in the early 2000s, even better in the 2010s. And even though they're struggling at the moment, they've still won 2 Champions Leagues in the 2020s with pure star power. It's just who Real Madrid are. They buy the most talented players, and they convert them into results and trophies. They have an insane winning DNA. Funnily enough, Barcelona actually tried to dabble in this super team philosophy after the departure of Messi and Neymar, but after spending 400 million euros on players that didn't really resonate with the club,
Yeah, it it didn't work, you know what I'm saying, bro?
Showed on the pitch.
It didn't work, bro.
Barcelona aren't a team that buys the best players in the world and goes on to dominate Europe. They're a team who trusts their foundations and produces that talent themselves.
Yeah.
And even though it was a turbulent time with Xavi, a La Masia graduate himself, he managed to restore the real identity of Barcelona, and the results are finally starting to show. Bringing Yamal
It was him, like, they built Lamine Yamal, bro. You gotta give him credit, you know what I'm saying?
to the first team at the age of 15, and giving him the opportunity to shine for the men's team epitomises who Barcelona are as a football club. An academy prospect, born in the city, raised in the academy, with all the passion and identity running through his veins. It seems like a fairy tale, and don't get me wrong, it is pretty crazy, but when you really look into what makes Barcelona such a unique football club, it starts to look like more of a pattern than a coincidence. From their last starting 11, 7
Hey,
of the
guys,
players
see
came
also?
from La Masia. Barcelona
see?
are going back to their roots, and it's not only showing in their results and performances, but also in the beauty of the football they're playing. I think this sends an important message to anyone in the footballing world. Being yourself and sticking to your beliefs is what separates you and makes you great. Even ourselves, two friends that love making content, started YouTube for the love and creativity of football and entertainment. But when we got distracted by chasing views and likes, we lost touch with our real identity, and it showed. Shifting
Damn.
back to making videos that we love has made it so much more enjoyable. And if you trust the process, the results will come. It's so important, now more than ever, to be like Barcelona and to be yourself. And in their case, they've struck gold yet again.
Look
and
at
will
Lamine, bro.
undoubtedly reap the rewards for many, many years to come.
Yeah, they have it for years, bro. Wow. Yeah, man. Nice, amazing video, bro. Yeah, Barcelona fans, y'all have Lamine Yamal for at least 20 years. Enjoy, bro. Enjoy him. If you're watching still here, like and subscribe, comment who should I rank next. Yeah. Amazing video. See ya.